and strip Tom, that they need to be fighting for the undisputed title. It's the White House, it's special, Tom is out, let's get Pereira versus Surreal and let's do it for the belt. Well, I think we're close on that. I just think it's the interim belt. And there was some discussion going around that Tom had been asked to vacate the title. The way the story goes is that the UFC asked Tom, vacate the title. You do it. It's a PR thing, right? I mean, it's our belt. We take it back whenever we want, but that's not what we want to do.
Tom Aspinall looked Dana White dead in the eye, refusing to vacate his interim heavyweight title. This wasn't mere stubbornness. It was a cold, calculated demand. Release me, a power play of seismic proportions, flipping Dana White's carefully laid plans into chaos. Aspinall wasn't just holding a belt, he was seizing the very reins of control. The silence that followed his defiance was deafening, signaling the entire heavyweight landscape was about to be reshaped. His refusal was immediate, brutal, sending shockwaves, challenging the core of UFC power dynamics, forcing a confrontation Dana never anticipated, and revealing who truly held the power.
But Tom said, no problem, release me. I'll vacate if you release me. I like your idea, I hear everything you're saying. We can have a discussion about re-signing and coming back in and getting my belt, but it'll keep my options open. If you want me to do this, here's what I want. Now, first off, that doesn't seem like something Tom would say. But this is the way the story goes. And if Tom did say that, respect. Respect, because he's standing up for himself. And Tom has the right to stand up for himself, because people do have a very short-term memory on how Tom got to where Tom got. I think they forget that he tore his knee against Curtis Blades, has to fall down and...
Meanwhile, Alex Pereira, Powhatan, eyed a monumental leap to heavyweight. This wasn't just any leap. It was a grand spectacle orchestrated by Dana White, a White House megacard, aiming for an undisputed championship. This wasn't merely about another belt. It was solidifying a legacy, a historic moment designed to fill coffers and cement Pereira's myth. Dana White practically salivated, seeing dollar signs and a narrative to ignite the PPV machine. Powhatan's ambition seemed boundless, a dream of two-division glory. Yet this grand vision was already veering dangerously off course, threatened by a champion who utterly refused to play along, creating an unexpected collision.
Fought. Never even got outside the first. Got his confidence back, got his momentum back, started to build some steam. I mean, all the stuff he did. He's on a trajectory, he agrees to John Jones, he doesn't hold anybody up for money, he doesn't hold anybody up for time. I mean, he's doing anything that he can do. And frankly, he did everything right. He was a massive team player. He was a massive star. I think you might forget how he captured the interim title in the first place. I think that you might forget about the fight against Sergey Pavlich, where Tom was in England. They put this thing together so fast that Tom's wife couldn't even come and join him. And this is a moment, Madison Square Garden, this is a moment for the family, for the
Aspinall's refusal was far from simple stubbornness. This was a deeply calculated strategic move, precisely designed to force the UFC's hand. It wasn't about gold, it was about raw control, his legacy, and fundamentally altering the organization's power dynamics. He aimed to either legitimize himself as the undisputed king, or even more dramatically, expose the unchecked ambition behind Pereira's audacious heavyweight gamble. Aspinall understood the game, turning his interim status into a formidable weapon. This wasn't just a title fight, it was a high-stakes chess match, where every move carried profound, career-altering consequences, especially for Dana White's ultimate plans and the sport's future.
It's an interesting thing. Now, I know that Tom wants to box, and that's where you can overplay your hand. There is no boxing out there for Tom. There's no boxing out there for any of them. And boxing also is not what they think. It is not just this huge payday, and it's none of these things that they think that it is. And you do have those outlier stories. You do have a McGregor versus Mayweather, but McGregor versus Mayweather didn't happen because McGregor stood up to the UFC. McGregor versus Mayweather happened and was a success because the greatest carnival barker of all time.
That interim title wasn't merely a placeholder, it was Aspinall's ultimate championship leverage, his only real weapon against Dana White's relentless power plays and the UFC's grand designs. He knew its immense value, understanding that without it, he was just another contender. By clutching it tightly, Aspinall created an undeniable bottleneck, forcing the promotion to address his claim before advancing their preferred narrative. This wasn't just about winning fights, it was winning the political battle behind the scenes. A high-stakes negotiation where his belt was the most valuable chip. He was holding the heavyweight division's future hostage, refusing to let go easily.
Stuff, and they were willing to take a gamble on it. I mean, I'm only sharing for you. They're now partners with the UFC. That opportunity's not there. And I don't want to rain on Tom at all. I'm just sharing, if you can box and you can do MMA, it's the same commissions, it's the same process, just by example. And the opportunity would be in MMA. There is no world title opportunity in boxing. There's also no big paycheck in boxing. This is fiction. But Tom would have those options open, and if that's important to him.
Aspinall, we must remember, vividly recalled the brutal, soul-crushing cost of injury that kept him sidelined. He tore his knee against Curtis Blades, an agonizing setback that nearly ended his career. That experience forged an unyielding resolve, a refusal to compromise on his path to undisputed glory. He wasn't playing around. This was a high-stakes game where every move counted, a fight for redemption and recognition. The memory of that physical and mental toll fueled his defiance, making him immune to typical UFC pressures. He knew what it meant to lose everything, and wouldn't surrender his hard-earned position for someone else's dream.
It's just something that it'd be a little out of line for the way that Tom would normally operate. So keep that thought and do what you would like with it. But now let's take a look at Alex Pereira, because if Pereira is going to go to if he is going to go to heavyweight, then he needs to be a heavyweight. I don't think that Pereira would disagree with me. And I don't think that Pereira would have any problem giving the 200.
For Pereira, the light heavyweight cut is notoriously savage, taking a visible, brutal toll. You can see the exhaustion etched in his eyes and on his frame. Vacating that belt isn't merely a choice, it's the brutal, unforgiving calculus of a champion staring down his body's physical limits. This isn't casual, it's about survival, preserving his well-being against the relentless grind of extreme weight management. His body is screaming, pushing him towards a division where he can compete without fighting himself before the octagon. This stark physical reality underpins the entire drama, a powerful force driving his potential career-altering move from a physical necessity.
So instead of working with the company, he goes into business for himself, he gives the belt back. This wasn't greatly perceived, but it's John, and there's a little room here, and then he sat for 3 years. For 3 years, he stayed out trying to gain the size to be heavyweight. Very humble thing for John to do, because frankly, John could have stepped in and won that heavyweight belt with no time off, but I'm just telling the story the way that it happened. So if Pierre is to do the exact same thing, I'm the light heavyweight champ, I want to pursue the heavyweight championship. Hey, by the way, I don't need any time. Let's go. I can fight light heavyweight on this date, or I can fight heavyweight. Either way, let's go. Gangster move. Very in line with what Alex Pereira does.
That rumored heavyweight move, especially tied to a White House mega card and its massive payday, isn't just a career progression. It's a strategic retreat from the relentless grind of his current division, a calculated gamble to escape immediate dangerous threats at light heavyweight. He's not simply seeking new challenges, he's seeking a different kind, one where his body isn't already half broken before the first bell. This isn't weakness, it's raw fight IQ, an understanding of self-preservation in a brutal sport. The heavyweight division promises not just glory, but a reprieve from the constant soul-destroying battle against the scales.
But I don't think that we're looking at it quite right. I don't think it's bad if they fight for the interim championship at all. At all. I think that's great. I do think if Pereira and Cyril fight, there's got to be a belt. It needs to be scheduled for a potential 5 rounds. Pereira is the champion of the world. If the champion of the world fights, a championship of the world's got to be on the line. That can be the interim. But as opposed to the idea that, hey, it's got to be Tom's belt. Nothing personal, Tom. We got to move on, and it's got to be for the undisputed championship. No, I don't agree with that. But I would agree that of that scenario, the one that does have to be stripped or to vacate the belt would be Pereira. And I don't think that Pereira would
Here's the thing, the UFC brass cannot ignore. You can't just cleanly ghost a division, especially not when Tom Aspinall is waiting. Aspinall isn't merely another name, he is a legitimate, undeniably dangerous, stylistic nightmare for virtually anyone. He's a problem so significant, so undeniable, that even Dana White, with all his marketing prowess, cannot simply gloss over him or write him out. His sheer existence in the heavyweight landscape exerts immense leverage, making Pereira's potential exit strategy anything but simple or straightforward. Aspinall is a force of nature, an unstoppable storm that threatens to reshape everything in its path, regardless of the UFC's preferred storyline.
Pereira would care in the least. Let those guys get on with it. If it doesn't work out at heavyweight and I want to go back here, I'll come in, and whoever's champion, I'll see you. I mean, in the words of Israel Adesanya, you deal with that monster.
Aspinall isn't just patiently waiting, he's actively applying raw, relentless psychological pressure. He's publicly demanding his shot at the undisputed title, effectively forcing Pereira's hand. This isn't primarily about difficult weight cuts anymore, though that's a factor. This is a titanic struggle involving Dana White's grand vision, the allure of a megacard, and the insatiable PPV machine, all clashing against one man's unwavering claim. Aspinall's relentless challenge creates an unavoidable confrontation, a narrative the UFC is desperately trying to control but losing its grip on. The pressure he exerts is palpable, a heavy weight hanging over every decision. Pereira's legendary fight IQ in this scenario is leading him to a profound sacrifice, potentially abandoning his light heavyweight legacy, built with such ferocity, all for the promise of a massive heavyweight payday. What does that truly tell you about a champion's conviction? It speaks volumes about the immense weight of championship, the incredible burden of holding gold in the UFC. Is he pursuing ultimate glory, or subtly trying to outrun a specific, highly dangerous stylistic threat? This isn't just about chasing belts, it's about navigating a brutal reality where every strategic decision carries monumental consequences, forever altering his historical standing. When we talk about Alex Pereira potentially vacating that light heavyweight belt to move up, you might think, wow, what a gangster move, what a fearless champion. But Tom Aspinall makes that choice incredibly brutal, transforming it from a bold statement into an agonizing dilemma. The pressure for Poatan to defend his current title is not just immense, it's suffocating. He's staring down a legitimate, highly dangerous stylistic threat in his own division, a challenge that cannot be ignored. Aspinall ensures any move up feels less like ambition and more like avoidance, turning a dream into a potential nightmare with his unyielding demands for an undisputed shot. It's no secret, Dana White loves the idea of a White House megacard, envisioning pure spectacle and massive paydays. But imagine a champion abandoning his division, especially with Aspinall, a true contender, publicly challenging him. That creates immense political pressure, a narrative nightmare for the UFC to navigate. The optics would be terrible, a perceived flight from competition, undermining divisional integrity. The UFC wants a clean, heroic storyline for Pereira, but Aspinall's defiance shatters that illusion, exposing raw ambition behind the scenes. This isn't just about matchmaking, it's about controlling public perception, a battle the UFC is dangerously close to losing. So, with brutal honesty, what's the real cost of chasing that second belt, that heavyweight dream, when the one he currently holds stands seemingly undefended, with an undeniable contender clamoring for it? This question cuts to the very core of what it means to be a champion. Is it about collecting hardware at all costs, or facing every legitimate challenge? Pereira risks light heavyweight dominance for what is, at its core, a speculative high-risk gamble. He must weigh the allure of a grand narrative against the concrete reality of a division he seemingly can't escape without controversy. The answer will define his legacy more than any trophy. Do you hear Aspinall, that cold-blooded, absolute intent ringing in his words? He is proving to be that monster Israel Adesanya famously warned about, a seemingly impenetrable brick wall placed squarely in Poatan's path. This isn't just a casual career adjustment, this is a desperate, high-stakes gamble for a legacy, heavily influenced, if not outright pushed, by the UFC itself. Aspinall's presence transforms Pereira's ambition into a forced hand, turning a potential glory run into a perilous tightrope walk. The monster isn't just a physical threat, it's a psychological one, relentlessly exposing every vulnerability and forcing a champion to question his every move. Pereira, vacating that light heavyweight belt isn't genuinely a choice he's making out of pure desire. It's the stark, brutal reality of his own body screaming, physically pushing him towards the heavyweight division. It's towards that massive White House megacard payday and the dream of undisputed glory. Yes, but primarily it's a desperate measure to preserve himself. His physical resilience is reaching its limit, and the fight game demands an acknowledgement of those boundaries. This move is less about a want and more about an absolute need, a testament to the immense strain his body endures just to make weight, a struggle unseen by most. Pereira will undoubtedly fight giants, absolutely, but only after his own body has already fought and won half the war just to get to the cage. That tragically leaves him exposed, a weakened, vulnerable target for apex predators like Aspinall, who are fresh, hungry, and operating at peak physical capacity. Imagine stepping into the octagon already depleted, having battled your own physiology for weeks. It's a disadvantage no champion should face, and Aspinall, keenly aware, capitalizes on it with every public challenge. What happens then when that physical resilience finally runs dry, leaving nothing but an empty shell to face pure, unadulterated power? This isn't just about a change in weight class, it's about potentially avoiding the intense psychological warfare that Aspinall brings to the table. He's the kind of heavy-handed, tactical monster who doesn't just want a title, he wants to expose you to break you. Aspinall's fighting style, combined with his relentless public pressure, makes him a unique threat that goes beyond mere punching power. He seeks to dismantle opponents mentally before they even step into the octagon, a truly terrifying prospect for any champion. So Pereira's move could be interpreted as an escape from this mental gauntlet, a desperate bid to preserve his psychological edge and storied reputation. Dana White, in all this, isn't just looking at mere title defenses, he's smelling the intoxicating aroma of a legacy-defining historic White House megacard. This isn't just a fight, it's a spectacle, a monumental event that transcends the sport itself, securing the UFC's place in history. The potential revenue, global attention, the sheer power projection, it's an irresistible vision for a promoter. Pereira is merely a key player in this grander scheme, a pawn in a much larger chess game designed to elevate the UFC to unprecedented heights. His individual desires are secondary to the monumental opportunity Dana White sees unfolding. The real psychological game is whether Pereira can successfully walk away from light heavyweight without looking like he's running from a challenge. Aspinall's camp is already doing an excellent job of painting exactly that picture, subtly or not so subtly insinuating Poatan is taking the path of least resistance. This narrative control is crucial, as public perception can make or break a fighter's legacy. If Pereira appears to be fleeing, his myth as an unbreakable warrior takes a hit, regardless of intentions. Aspinall is manipulating the narrative, forcing a choice with profound implications beyond the octagon, challenging the very perception of Poatan's bravery. The unspoken yet profoundly true reason for that heavyweight move isn't just embracing a new challenge. It's about escaping the grinding, soul-crushing reality of a division he barely belongs in, all while simultaneously trying to solidify his myth as an undeniable two-division champion. This dual motivation creates a complex tapestry of ambition and self-preservation. He's attempting to achieve legendary status while strategically retreating from a physical toll that is simply unsustainable. This move is a desperate tightrope walk, balancing the allure of historical greatness with the stark, brutal demands of his own biology. It's a move born of necessity, disguised as ambition. This, my friends, is precisely where championship pressure either crushes a fighter under its immense weight, or in the crucible of ultimate competition, forges them into an unbreakable legend. The choices made now, under this intense spotlight and relentless scrutiny, will define Alex Pereira's entire career. Will he succumb to the physical demands and psychological warfare, or will he rise above, transforming an agonizing dilemma into a testament to his unparalleled will? Every decision, every strategic pivot, every public statement is magnified, creating a moment of truth that will echo through the annals of MMA history. This is the ultimate test, where only the strongest survive and thrive. So what are we truly witnessing here? Beyond the glint of the belts and sensational headlines, we are seeing the raw, unforgiving calculus of ultimate power play out in real time. Tom Aspinall isn't merely fighting for a title, he's forcing the entire landscape of the heavyweight division, and indeed the UFC, to bend to his iron will. His sheer presence alone is a psychological pressure cooker, relentlessly pushing a legend like Pereira to make agonizing, career-defining choices. Ultimately, this conflict exposes the delicate, razor-thin balance between a fighter's legacy, burning ambition, and the brutal, immutable reality of their physical limits. It's a masterclass in strategic defiance, a true show of power. This isn't just about who possesses more punching power. It's profoundly about the fight IQ required to navigate your own brutal reality. It's about knowing precisely when to make a strategic retreat, when to gamble everything on a single roll of the dice, and when absolutely to confront the monster head on. Dana White might pull the ultimate strings, but guys like Aspinall, they are the storm, the unstoppable force of nature that reshapes everything in its path. In life, just as in competition, there will always be an Aspinall demanding your absolute best, exposing your vulnerabilities and forcing your hand. The critical question then is this: will you crumble under that immense pressure, or will you seize it, harness its power, and use it to forge your own undeniable legend? Think deeply about that. Stay strong, stay hungry, and I'll catch you all on the next one.